Welcome to the Own Up Podcast with your host, Jennifer Long.
Welcome back to Own Up, the podcast. What you are about to hear is a discussion Jen had with her friend and co-author, Dr. Todd Conklin, on the creation of their latest book, Workers Are the Solution, Not the Problem, a guidebook to leading differently.
To me, the thing that amazed me most about this project was that we ended up with a product that we did not intend to end up with. So I don't know how you felt, but
Yeah.
if you'd have said, "Hey, what's the last thing you're going to write?" I would have said, "Oh, a book on how the world is changing so dramatically and how it's impacting not really leaders, but how it's impacting the people leaders lead and how different they are now than they were 5 years ago."
Yeah.
I would not have said that.
I would not have either. I remember. So walk me through, since we're already in the recording,
Right.
walk me through your recollection of that phone call that we had. I remember driving and we were sort of having a conversation around what do we think is really gonna be a good thing to focus on.
So I thought if I remember correctly that call, and I do remember the call. It's funny though. Nothing's
notes.
Yeah, no, we had notes. I wish I had saved those.
I wonder if I have the notes.
I'm pretty sure they're gone. But I think our intention was to really look at kind of this whole idea of doing things differently. So safety differently, the way you're looking at accountability in a different way, and how that's really resonating across industry. I mean, it's really caught fire. So lots and lots and lots and lots of organizations are looking at that. And I think our initial thought was, or maybe I should own it. My initial thought is that we were going to look at how this influenced leadership and how we would sort of kind of write a book on leading differently, which I think that's kind of how we started. I mean, am I wrong? What do you remember?
Yeah, well, I remember talking about just the nature of when we look at, because when we work together and you're focused on the capacity building and I'm like the capacities and how you also interrelate with them. And so we were talking about just the nature of how you help leaders understand what that really means, right?
Right.
And
what they probably need to be thinking about and doing differently. It was really sort of a philosophical discussion when we had that first talk about the book. Why do we even want to write the book?
because I think
I just stumped you. Stumped Jenny out there. Stumped.
I think it was because we had such a good dovetail of your hot principles and accountability are just a really easy fit.
Yeah. And I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah.
And I thought I could probably talk you into going someplace exotic.
I
mean, that isn't that hard for you. So
we'll work a little harder on that.
Pretty low bar on that one.
Yeah.
So
would you like to travel or day drink? Pick one.
Okay. All right. How about both?
How about both?
I know a place where they do both.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we did it because it was going to be fun. And it was a project we could do together. So that was a simple idea. And then I think our intention was to really come up with some kind of beginning of the discussion of the philosophical shift and how you lead differently in an organization that's doing things differently. So capacity and all that stuff.
Leaders are the stumpers. Leaders, all these guys are coming in, all the safety folks are working from the middle. And it's really hard for them to create the space in the leadership agenda for what this can do. And I think that probably was the impetus for us to do
And unfortunately, that's exactly what we didn't do. But that's the story to me, is that the book we said, so we had that meeting, we took pages of notes, we went back and we both did our research. So we were both pretty ready for it. I mean, I didn't feel like we weren't ready. We sat down to write the book, and on our first discussion, and we should tell people that the secret way to write a book like this is to go to some hotel not a fancy hotel, but a nice,
A working hotel.
a business hotel, right?
Business hotel,
Like a
yes.
place where business people stay.
So you're not
So
distracted by the fancy things.
yeah, and there's chairs in the room. There's an
And
actual
there's
chair.
chairs.
Hey, look, here's a chair. Um, and we set this, so and what we would do is we'd have breakfast, leisurely breakfast, because
Hmm.
that's really the only way to have breakfast.
That's why you have it.
And that is kind of why you have it. And then we'd talk about stuff and take notes and type little typey things on our
Yeah.
computer.
Hmm.
And then we would break away, go to our separate corners,
Yeah.
write up the stuff we talked about, and then come back down mid-afternoon-ish and see where we were.
Yeah.
Right? That's
That's the
pretty
best.
accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then go out for a nice dinner someplace,
Right.
as exotic as we could make it. So
Right. Right.
and we handled all that pretty well. So that handled really well. That's when the book started to take this weird turn. I shouldn't say it's a weird turn, but it went to places that I didn't think it would get. I'll just be
Yeah.
really honest. Let me start by saying this. This book freaked me out.
Yeah.
And what freaked me out about it is how wrong my paradigm was for an organization.
Mm.
That freaked
Right.
me out.
Yeah. And I would say it didn't freak me out as much because I mean, I think it was a good aha and we're like, oh, this is way more interesting.
Yeah.
But it's been the frustration of when you are coaching people who are trying to influence executives or when you're with executives who can't create space for shift. They're so busy protecting how they got where they are.
Right. What was, that
What
they can't really see
was
what is.
yeah. Yeah, and they've been there so long,
Right.
right? They've been there so long, they've stopped looking
Yeah.
at what's really going on. They
A-
they feel like they know.
And I think I found myself in the very position we were writing about, especially as it relates to loyalty, long-term employment, a developmental path, an arc of a career, um, getting a
Yeah,
good job, towing the line, keeping your head down, advancing, becoming a
yeah,
supervisor, becoming, a superintendent, becoming a manager, becoming a regional vice president, all that stuff was completely coded in my DNA. And I didn't think it was. I mean,
yeah.
it was really shocking for me. I was just like, wow, I do this every day, all day long with organizations, and I'm totally just as bad as they are. Maybe worse.
But and that's the interesting thing, right? So when you start to understand differently, not only does it change your own mindset, but it changes you, right?
Yeah.
And so I think we forget what it feels like to actually have shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, I think that's a really brilliant point you just made. And it's not comfortable.
Mm-mm.
It's not like eureka, aha, I'm smarter now. It's like, holy crap,
Holy crap,
all
I've
this
lost touch.
yeah, exactly. All this stuff I thought was true is not true. And I didn't know it until right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what am I gonna do? And that sort of started this journey for this book. Are you happy with where we got to? And that's an unfair question because I think when you finish any book, there's always places you're like, "Oh, I would have done this way differently than
Yeah.
I did it."
Yeah. I used to direct theater and after opening week, I was like, I can't look at this anymore because
Yeah,
all I can
exactly.
see is the stuff I would change.
Yeah, I would change all of this.
Yeah. Same with the book. I'm happy with it. I think it's an easy read. I think it's a quick read. I think it's, you know, deals with deals with the issue pretty well. But yeah.
What value do you think it brings a leader?
I think it distills down some really critical points that not only are you the problem, here's why you're the problem. And I think it helps them easily just the turn of phrase when you bring to a leader who's really frustrated about who they're bringing in and they can't get people and who's really trying to figure out how in the world they're going to perform and they're struggling with the workforce. When you look at them and tell them, look at you, the workforce is your solution, not your problem. How you're going about your workforce is your issue. It stops them.
Yeah.
Just that whole idea right there.
And how they think about it, how they think about their workforce. You're exactly right. Because I thought the shift was going to be don't see the worker as the problem, see him as the solution. Done.
Yeah.
Put a bow on it. Man, this is incredible. In, out, bing, bang, boom. Academy Award. See you later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what we found was that that's just the beginning of the conversation. It's much deeper in the way we think about really organizing companies to
Mm-hmm.
be effective in a world that's filled with almost toxic levels of chaos. I mean, just really high levels of uncertainty. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're higher than they have been before because I wasn't around before, but
Mm-hmm.
they're awfully, it's really hard to make a plan now.
It is. And you have to um and people who have been crappy at planning are really suffering, but
Yeah.
people
Oh,
who have
they're really in trouble. Yeah.
they're really in trouble. And people who do plan are learning that, the plan's only good if the shelf life is 2 weeks long.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure. And then you found the Forbes magazine article in the midst of all this.
I did.
And how did that sort of influence the work you'd already done on a book that is already published and out?
It made me feel really good because the article was really a lot about Gary Hamel, who I love and respect and I've never met, but his work has been really, from a coaching perspective, his work on humanocracy and his work on the future of management was brilliant. And so the fact that he is echoing a lot of the things that we put on the table made me feel like, okay, he's here and he's in the same leadership meetings, right?
Yeah,
With the same people going, for crying out loud. You guys gotta look at this different. And um, just the points of the article around, you can't outsource the future and you have to own this, and you've got to look at things. The data sets you're looking at are no longer relevant to you, and your
right,
tools aren't going to save you. Yeah.
right. Yeah, which I thought I mean, I thought that was so when I read that article the first time I went through it, it was very reinforcing because
Mm-hmm.
I needed that reinforcement because we had just finished this project and I was still a little shaken by the
Yeah.
shift. I was still like, God, I just can't believe that I got it so or I had it so wrong.
Yeah.
Probably still have it wrong, but it's less wrong than it was 6 months ago. But I like your comment that what it really did help me understand was that they're in the same meetings we're in,
Yeah.
which means everybody who's reading this book or listening to us, they're in the same meetings that we're all in the same meetings. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody's kind of struggling desperately to make sense out of what's happening and to
Mm-hmm.
try to I mean, the mistake I think is that we try to force function this new world into our old paradigm, when in
Right.
reality, we don't have any ability to force function the new world. It just happens to us. We have no control over it.
Mm-hmm.
So what has to shift is our paradigm must change to more accurately and effectively reflect the new world order, which sounds really scary.
Yeah. Well, and it I don't think people really, the leaders, that people who have been in the business world for this length, career length times, who are holding these jobs and making decisions for organizations that are supposed to sustain them for the next 10 or 15 years or whatever, are really in on the touchstone of what this all means, and what the pandemic really did, where the generation of workers really is, and the impacts that all of that stuff had is real. And the fact that they're all desperately trying to go back right now
Right. Right.
is just proof that they're still not paying attention.
Right. But you understand, I mean, I understand why they're desperately trying to go back. It's because
Well,
they wanna take it back to
it's
what
safe.
it's normal.
It's normal.
When we get back to normal, when we get back to normal, when normal things are happening, then I'll know how to manage this organization. And I think what we learned And certainly what the article you referenced taught us is that it's not going back. I mean, we're definitely not going back
We're
to
never going back.
and the idea that money's not a very big motivator and that people aren't loyal really to an organization because they don't feel the organization's loyal to them, which, by the way, seems completely true when you say it out loud. The need for connectedness, the
Mm-hmm.
need for immediacy, all those things we learned on this little journey through this book, I think has been really helpful because
Yeah.
you start to see it. And what's funny is then when you talk to managers, they never and I'd be curious to see if the same is true for you. They never talk about their company, they always talk about their kids. So I'll
Mm.
say, there's the need for connectedness and immediacy is really an important motivator for your workforce. And they'll say, that's I got a 22-year-old son who's right there. He never
Mm-hmm.
thinks he's gonna own a house. He's
Mm-hmm.
not interested in a long-term relationship with an organization. He's super connected with his friends all the time in real time. I mean, it's very, very interesting that they see that change
They can
through the
see it in their own kids.
family,
Yeah.
yeah, in their own kids. I don't know,
Yeah.
that's been very interesting to me. I mean, you must see it as well. Are you
Yeah.
talking about this book with your clients much?
Yeah, yeah. And I get kind of the same. It goes immediately to what they're familiar with from their family unit because they
Yeah.
know if you've got kids in your mid 20s, late 20s who are entering the workforce and they are frustrated
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
they are fed up and they are the platform barriers they have to face and no real people and no feedback. They are like, what is the matter with this, right? And
And
they're
it's that need to interpret it through the old paradigm. It's everything we're talking about,
hmm
but that's been super, kind of valuable, and the fact that you talked like, I'll talk to pretty senior like, these are pretty senior
yes,
people,
yeah.
and they're just completely kinda taken aback by it, kinda awestruck by the whole thing, which is sorta crazy in a way. I mean, it's super interesting.
Well, same reaction we had. I remember sitting at the table a couple of times when we'd bring up I wish I had something specific, but I just remember we'd bring something up and then we'd stop and go, "Oh wait, that's exactly what we're talking about."
No, I know, isn't it weird?
Yeah.
Or
We
how
are those
com
people. Oh no.
yeah, how companies that I thought were kinda morally bankrupt
Mhm.
are the companies that are kinda thriving in this new environment, and you're like, "Oh, well, now wait, if I see them
Mhm.
as morally bankrupt, maybe the metric I'm using for morally sound is no longer accurate anymore." I mean, it's really weird.
Yeah. Yeah, how did the the opportunist, let's say, as opposed to morally bankrupt, how did if they were being opportunist at the time because they saw the vein to tap, right?
Yeah,
They saw the nature of it and we're like, "Ooh, how do we make that work?" Because, and those are more younger companies in the sense of younger as a company and younger demographically, right? A lot of that workforce just tends to be younger because they're more tech based, they're more remote based, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
all the things.
What's your biggest takeaway from the book? What do you think that we got right?
Um, I think we got right. Um, I think the information about what your tools and your measuring and what you're looking at to tell you if you're okay and how it's going is should be relative to the problem, not the stuff that's gonna make you happy, the usual suspects of things.
Right.
I think that was important. I think we got a big review about, the whole thing about paying attention to, outcomes and choices and not behaviors
Yeah.
was a big thing we got right.
Which I think is huge. I mean, just huge, huge at every level.
At every level, because so many people are looking for behavior change. We need I was like and this is where Gary's article is really important because the title of his article, Leadership's Blind Spot, Until You Change the System, Nothing Changes. Um, that whole understanding of your system is giving you the behaviors you're getting. Your system is driving the results you're having. If you're underperforming, it's your systems. because they
Yeah.
don't serve the people anymore. And how are you going to reconcile that? Especially in older businesses who feel their systems are our bread and butter.
Brilliant. I mean, it was a fun project. I'm glad we did it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because it's not easily solved. It's not easily, this is a like hop, it's a journey for leaders to really start to try to experiment with how to move in a different direction they didn't anticipate or didn't believe was really there. And like you and I, that they're not ready for how a change in the system is going to change them.
Which is
That's the
really important.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the crux of everything.
Yeah, because the lessons are theirs, not the
Yeah.
workforce.
Yeah.
This is a huge learning curve for leadership.
It's crazy. And the only thing I think we need to do, and I know that this is something that you want to do, and that I've been kind of not pushing back, but thinking about the opportunity, is I think we should have a workshop for leaders. And I'm really anxious to have the first workshop
Yeah.
so we can talk about this book with a room full of leaders who are processing this information as well. I think it'd be
Yeah.
a kind of a fun way to do it. So
It would be really, really great. I mean, one of the things I love doing when I do an accountability workshop is I run them through an exercise called the lies we tell ourselves. And I do it relative to what are the lies we tell ourselves about holding people accountable. And it's a great exercise for people to come to terms with this stuff they actually are operating on, because those stories are your stories are the things that inform your decision making.
yeah.
And so it would be fun to have a group of leaders and really kind of let's have a lies we tell ourselves about the workforce.
Yeah, I agree. And even though it feels like a big ugly mirror that you're holding up to your face,
Mm,
um, in reality, I think the discussion this would engender and
mhm.
create would probably be the highest value it could have. It would be pretty meaningful at a bunch of levels.
Yeah, to
So
really get in your own head around how you are your own worst enemy relative to the roadblocks that are in your organization
so
as leaders.
I'll make you a promise.
Okay.
We'll do an open workshop, and let's do it in Denver because it's easy to fly in and out of.
It's easy to fly in and out, and I'm already here.
Yeah, you live here, so and it's kind of a local call for me.
Yeah.
It's not that bad of a drive, so
Yeah,
it,
let's
it would
do
be
it in
doable.
Denver in the fall when it's not
Yeah,
too hot.
when it's autumnal,
It's autumnal, right?
autumnal.
Because we don't have mud season anymore because because everyone's a tourist now, and that's from February until November.
It's true. It's crazy. Any final words?
Final words are, thanks for the opportunity to work with you, because I think the two of us together and both of our experiences and the questions that we posed back and forth to each other, the connection that we have is what generated some of this thinking. And
Man, my
so,
pleasure. Thank you. What a nice thing to say.
yeah, so
I agree the same. I completely agree.
so that we're drinking our own Kool-Aid in the book. We are connected.
Yes, but that's okay. I mean, that's someone's got to drink the Kool-Aid. It's not going to drink itself.
Well, that's right. That's right. On the learning
Thank
curve.
you, Jennifer T. Long. You're the best.
Thank you, Todd Conklin. You're not so bad yourself.
Thank you for listening to the Own Up podcast. To get more information about Own Up, go to own-up.com. That's own-up.com. To get more information about Jennifer, please go to her website at jennifertlong.com. If you like this podcast, please subscribe in your favorite podcast player. Thanks for listening.